Good evening and welcome to Conversations with Taz. And as always, every Friday we are here for Freeform Fridays. You want to introduce
Woo!
yourself?
Hello, I'm Dion Phoenix on TikTok to be precise. How are y'all feeling today?
Now, there is one thing that I know we are both dying to talk about. This whole bath day, bath week, not bathing folks till you see dirt or you stink.
Get your butt in the shower. Like, I mean, me personally, don't nothing feel better than when I touch some water. Don't nothing feel better than after I done cleanse my skin of today's dirt. Don't nothing feel better than when I get up in the morning, I take me a shower. I'm a heavy set dude. So I take more than one shower a day. And sometimes, if I'm in the mood, I will take me a bath. Now, some people don't like taking baths, but I'll take me a bath and then I'll stand up and I'll take me a shower just to extra rinse off. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
sometimes you gotta understand. Even if you're wearing a mask, we can smell you. That mask does not stop us from being able to smell you, boo boo. And you smell like boo boo.
That part. And what's really what really gets me are all these celebrities that are coming out to say that they don't bathe themselves, they don't bathe their children till it gets to this point. And I'm like, and there are a lot of palm colored people that are like, yeah, bath day is a thing. I grew up on this.
Um, Bath day is shouldn't be a thing. Showering and bathing daily should be a thing. And I thought it was a thing, but which from the reports that are being told, it's not. And what I want to know is, you palm colored people. Let's talk about y'all children real quick. Y'all took my people and y'all enslaved us. And we taught y'all how to wash y'all asses. And you don't do it? Really? I need some explanations.
And here's the thing, I hear so many people getting offended by the word colonizer. And they're like, I wasn't even around then. I don't do the same things that they do. I don't do what did now, what they did then. And I'm like, you kind of,
The
you
mindset.
actually do because, okay, first of all, let's go over the history of white people bathing. Before they
Mhm.
were not bathing at all. They just felt like if
Right.
they washed their undergarments, the undergarments would soak up everything. The undergarments would start white, and then when they were no longer white, you would wash them. Then it turned
Right.
into an annual thing in the month of June. That's why June became the
Mhm.
wedding month because that's when a woman smelt her best. Because
Mm.
and that's also where the term "don't throw the baby out with the bathwater" because you start with the oldest person in the house and you trickle down. If you're only taking a bath once a year, think about how filthy dirty that water is going to be. Then it went to once a week on Saturday night. That's why there's a textiles company called Saturday Night Limited where they exclusively make bath things. And that's why. And it's like now, through all of these plagues and during a pandemic, that it is conducive for your survival that you be clean and the things around you be clean. We have people
That part.
admitting that they're still not being clean. And I'm sorry, taking a bar of soap and rubbing it against your body doesn't work. And
Okay,
I
okay,
saw a
okay.
video, let me say this
A
real quick. I
wash
saw a
rat. Go
video
ahead.
of a young lady. It was like a podcast. She was sitting on the floor, and the two guys that was on video, like us, were talking, and they were even shook by this.
I saw
She
that. I
says
saw
she
that.
doesn't bathe every day, but predominantly she washes her hair and then lets the soap drip down her body. And in her mind, the soap dripping down her body cleans her. And I'm like, you people are concerned about taking a vaccine, and you really think that by washing your hair and the shampoo Come, and these will be the same women who will criticize a man for having a 5-in-1 body wash hair thing. And I'm like, at least he washing. Whew, where's my water?
Okay, well, I really want to know why won't chalk children use a washcloth? That's what it's for.
And here,
Like,
a
I mean,
washcloth, bath gloves, a loofah, something.
I mean, you know, it's not actually cleaning your body and getting off the germs. Like, there's so many germs that stick on cells, even with water
No,
being
they
run
don't.
down.
There was a video, and at the time I saw it, it was just now getting traction. It was on
Mm.
its way to becoming viral on TikTok. Where this woman is like, "Oh my God, I'm not going to be dark as I was anymore," because somebody was taking a rag on her dry body and rubbing, and you could see the dirt rubbing off. And I'm like, "Sweetheart, that's not your skin coming off. That's dirt. That's you just getting in the water. It's just making. It's no different than the dirt on the ground. You're making mud, packing it more into your skin."
Okay, and I probably said it wrong. I appreciate you for correcting me. But like still like if you're packing it more into your skin, that washcloth is going to get that off of you. I mean like okay, you use a sponge to wash your dishes, right? If you don't got a dishwasher, which you know, I grew up in a family where we were the dishwashers. So, but you use a sponge to wash your dishes. You got to scrub to get them clean and get all the funky stuff off, right? Why do you think your body is any different?
But here, let me make this connection for you. Last year, because this is the first time I've heard about the bath thing, because a couple years ago on social media, primarily on Facebook and Twitter, people were talking about summer baths where certain people felt like if they got into any body of water that they did not need to take a bath for that time. But if you remember last
Hmm.
year, the big debate was about washing meat. And I'm like, yeah, I can't. If you're not gonna wash your meat, I don't believe that you're gonna wash your ass.
I'm gonna put it this way. As a big guy, if you are a big person, you have crevices. Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me?
Hmm.
You have crevices, and in these crevices, you sweat. Your pores are there, and after a while, when you sweat, they produce an odor. People can smell that. Your boss can smell that. Your neighbor can smell that. And if you are funky for a numerous amount of time, your house starts to smell like that.
Well, not only that, even as women, we have a lot of crevices and we sweat in places that, whoo, child, it would shock a lot of y'all. But this also goes to this whole movement of incels. And for those who don't know what incels is, it's short for involuntarily celibate.
Hmm.
And they are the embodiment of the He-Man Woman Haters Club. Yes, from the Little Rascals. But I'm like, a lot of y'all are not getting play and not getting attention from the men or the women or non-binary individuals that you are attracted to and you want so badly because you're not washing.
Hey, I mean, I'm just gonna put it honestly, and this is for the gay community. Let's talk about washing in the gay community. Can I do that here? Um, if you are a man and you are a bottom, what kind of person wants to have sex with you when you don't wash your bottom?
Mm,
What kind of
mm,
person wants to do that? Hey, some
mm.
people don't want to have this conversation, but let's have it.
No, I'm
What
glad
kind
you
of
brought that up
person wants
because
to want to do it?
some things that I saw throughout this week and in weeks past are making a lot more sense now. And let me explain. You know how
Go ahead.
somebody will like make a general post, whether a video, comments underneath a picture, whatever, and we know it's taboo because you don't want to accidentally out anyone to ask anyone about their sexuality. But when you
Right.
just said that, I'm thinking about some things that I saw and some conversations I saw taking place on various lives.
Mm.
Oh, mm, it's just like that light bulb just woo. But here's the thing, all these people are admitting that they don't bathe regularly, from celebrities all the way down to just common folk like you and I. But when we all were first notified of COVID and we were entering lockdown,
Y'all stole.
the first thing
It
that was
wasn't
gone was the
stealing.
soap.
Exactly, and the toilet paper. So y'all know y'all have to wipe your behind, but you don't know you need to wash your behind.
So I'm just, and oh, if we're gonna talk about our alphabet family, we also need to talk about what I call the faux heterosexual men, because I'm sorry, they come off, they give very DL vibes,
Go
that
ahead.
claim that
Let's
washing
talk
their
about them.
butts or rinsing their butts is homosexual.
Okay, so let me make this very clear. If you think, okay, so I want to break this down in several phases. To all the men out there, whether you are homosexual, straight, DL, it don't freaking matter. You got a prostate, bro. Some of you, and I'm gonna say some of you only because there's intersex, and some of them do identify as male. So I'm trying to be respectful. But you have a prostate. Where do you think your prostate is?
And I'm just saying, there's a certain category of doctors that I feel my heart goes out to them, because for these men to sit there and go, "Oh, it's gay for me to wash my," oh my god.
But at the same time, if you think daily care of yourself is gay, man, I know some straight men that are very gay then. And
Yeah,
for
because I
all
think
those
people
people,
have forgotten
like,
about metrosexual men.
I'll be honest with you, the metrosexual men, like, they think that they're like, I don't really like the description of them, but it's true. But at the same time, the metrosexual man takes care of himself. He washes his body. He grooms his hair. He makes sure his fingernails ain't fucked up. Uh, washes every aspect of himself, and make sure he's taking care of his not only his cleanliness. Excuse me, not only his cleanliness, but his mental well-being, his sense of self. And to be honest with you, I would personally like to see more straight men be more metrosexual. Me personally, yes, I know that that would make them appealing to gay men. But let's be honest with you. If you're appealing to gay men, you're appealing to gay men. Just get over it.
Well, yeah,
Take
but
it
they
as a
would also make
compliment.
them very appealing to
Women.
everyone.
That's true.
Um, and here's another thing. Since we're gonna go down this rabbit hole, let's get comfortable, get our shovels out, and really go down this rabbit hole.
Okay,
People, can
let me
we
smoke a
let go
cigarette.
of the entire myth that every gay man is fashionable, every gay man is very clean and organized and flamboyant? No, because I'm sure that there are some gay men in your life, in your midst, that you have no idea are gay. There are some gay men that are messy as fuck, and you just assume that they're not gay because of that.
Well, look, I mean, like, me personally, I could definitely go through this rabbit hole because I've been that femme gay that they all try to say is fashionable. But you know what? I'm cool in some sweatpants and a hoodie. I'm cool in that. I feel comfortable. I don't dress nice for other people. I dress nice for me.
Yeah.
And I get seen as a femme gay because I like to do my hair. I like to have long hair. I like to put weave in my head. But my dress don't change. Like I don't go around wearing a certain type of thing, but like if that's your comfort level, that's your comfort level. I wish people would need to learn to understand when you try to put a label on something somebody else acts, but then get mad when they put a label on you.
And
You're a
people are
hypocrite.
individuals. People are individuals because
That part.
you can be a tomboy as a woman and be straight, or be queer, or be non binary, or be completely gay. You can be extremely feminine and not be attracted to men. People's personal style is their personal style.
I mean, like, I'll be honest with you. Have I seen some men on social media that are very feminine, but they're only attracted to women? Yes.
Hmm.
And it's not unbelievable. There are some women who are they won't get their hair done and weave. They use their natural hair. They're only in froze. They they wear very mannish clothes. I'm gonna say, but they're only attracted to men.
Yeah. And black community. First of all, can y'all stop with the fake ass homophobia? And yes, that's what I'm calling it. And I'm gonna tell you why I'm calling it fake ass homophobia. Because within the black community, people are quick to go, oh, that's an abomination, that's a sin, that's against nature. But to this day, you still love the fuck out of Prince. And Prince was all about loving everyone, if you catch what I'm saying, because I'm not trying to get a CGV right here. That man wore heels. He got his hair silk pressed. He had his booty out. You didn't know if he was going to show up with a man, a woman, a non binary individual, an intersex individual. He didn't care. And to this day, y'all love him to death. You will talk somebody down over some Prince, but you got a problem with your cousin, your son, or your brother, or finding out that your daddy gay. That's full homophobia. That is trendy homophobia. And I said it.
Let's also acknowledge this. There's this conversation going on since the baby situation. Let's analyze this. Some of y'all feel
Yeah, you
that
take the lead on
the
that.
that the gay community bullies you. Y'all feel bullied by the gay community. You feel bullied? Some of y'all are 20, 30, something like that. But when you were in your teenage years, you were bullying the gay guy at school, weren't you? We're bullying you by living our truth
But here's the thing, they didn't even
and
stop
being other.
then. They're still bullying people. Have you been on any of Little Nas X's feeds and the BS that he gets? Nobody is pushing an agenda on you because the last time I checked, there were no
Exactly.
conversion camps to turn you gay, but there are conversion camps to try to
That
turn
part.
you straight. And my
And
thing
that
is,
part.
what heterosexual individual is looking in the mirror going, I no longer want to be alive because of my sexuality and society doesn't like who I am?
Point
No
me
one.
out one. Point me out one, and I will shut the fuck up.
And here's my thing.
Point me out
Why are you
one.
so worried about who's in somebody else's bedroom? Who somebody else is in love with? Half of y'all can't even keep yourself happy, let alone a
But be the
partner, but you
be the
worried about
main
somebody else's partner.
right. But be the main one saying stay in your lane, mind your business. Right. Be the main ones speaking on that. Stay in your lane, mind your business. But you can't put that to another person's sexuality.
And black
You can't
men,
put that. I'm
please
just
stop
saying.
seeking out bisexual women and wanting to see women make out and trying to get women drunk enough to make out with one another, but then turning your nose up because you just now found out your homeboy is bisexual or gay. Because guess what? Everybody that you surrounding yourself with is gay. Your girlfriend, her girlfriend, your sister, your cousin, and lo and behold, your mama. And your grandmama was probably muff diving too.
And let's be honest with it. Black men can be so considerate of a woman, of another woman with another woman, but you can't give that same energy for another man with another man when neither one of them are any of your damn business.
It just makes me wonder. Are you
Y'all
just jealous because
curious.
you're not living your real truth? Are
That
you
part.
upset because somebody's making you get the butterflies and twinkle in your tinkle.
I mean, at the end of the day, me personally, I've like let's bring up the little Nas Expo thing real quick. Me personally, I can understand the imagery in his videos. I can understand it because as a person who came from a truly black Christian household and everything, those were the same things that were said to me. Those were the same things that were passed on to me and put me under. So now that he's in a mode where he's not going to let nothing y'all think or nothing y'all feel about his life and his truth stop him from living his best life and living his happiness. Let's change the truth word to happiness, because people want to live in their happiness, but when they see somebody living in their happiness, then they have a fucking problem with it.
And the thing about it is, and it goes even beyond sexuality,
That
because
part.
you'll see people, think about it, from the time you start school to the time you graduate high school, you were told continuously, especially by church folk, you can be whatever you want. You can do this,
Hmm.
be a doctor, be a lawyer, start your business. Then when you do that, when you say you're going to take a leap of faith, they do everything to discourage you, tell you that's not where to go, that's not how to be. And if you do become successful, nobody says anything about your hard work, your dedication, your blood, sweat, and tears. It's want to do it. Want to do it. You can take care of this now. You can take care of that now. It's all about
And
how it can benefit them.
at the end of the day, they say that. But don't the Bible say if you teach a man, wasn't there a story about if you teach a man a fish, if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. If you teach a man a fish, he'll eat for life, or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when people teach themselves how to fish, because they're doing what the word says, you want to turn around and give the credit to anybody else but them for what they did for their life.
And then
Any
on
else
top
but
of it,
them.
be jealous.
The jealousy, to be honest with you, here's what I don't understand. I don't understand how you can be jealous of any bitch who made it somewhere just because you wouldn't do the things that you need to do so you could make it somewhere.
Because my question to people is, how many people from your church actually support anything that you do that they don't benefit from? Let me repeat that. How many people from your church actually support what you do that they do not benefit from? Because everybody knows a sister Julie who comes in just to do solos and then she leaves. She ain't heard a sermon in 57 years. We also know about Brother Paul that comes in just to be the president of the usher board because that's what it gets titled. And that's long standing historically, where in regular secular life, black people couldn't hold positions of power. The only place that they could hold positions of power were in the church. But since they didn't hold
Hmm.
positions of power in the originating churches within the United States, they were mimicking what they thought was going on in those positions of power, and they took it to their heads. And that has been the biggest generational curse within the black evangelical community.
Oh, let's talk about the ushers real quick. Let's be honest with it. Some of the ushers, they know every family's business,
The
and they
ushers
help
at a
the
black
rumor.
church are
Ooh,
like the police.
ooh, they
They
help the
feel like,
rumors circulate.
but did you hear me? The ushers in
Yeah,
a black
true
church
that.
are like the police. They are too power hungry. They're the people who basically got bullied any other place because they act like they act like the Lord's house is their house.
Mm.
Don't touch nothing, don't move, don't do.
I once had a situation where the usher took out a cane and was about to hit me with it. And if it wasn't for my mother being right there, right next to me, like she came into the room because apparently during the sermon there was a unspoken rule: you ain't supposed to leave to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, well, if I gotta go, I
But
gotta
if I
go.
but if I pee on this seat, you gonna get mad, right? Okay. Um. Um. So she came downstairs to check on me, and she saw the usher about to cane me, and like sometimes you're right. The ushers can't act like the police, but I also know that the ushers can be the biggest gossips in the church.
Oh yeah, because they want to be all up in everybody's business. And think about the ushers
Hmm.
are everywhere. They're there for the meetings. They're there for the
Hmm.
funerals, the weddings, and they get so good at being stealth little ninjas that
Right.
they are the fly on the wall. And instead of observing the doctrine and the good gospel, they observe the good gossip and want to run tell everybody everything. And one other thing that I noticed with any gossip, they never get the information right. They never get the information right. Like you could literally give them a blueprint, a map, step by step instructions to your life. They will still get it wrong and pass it like a wildfire in California.
And I do have a question for y'all. I have a question for anybody who's watching or UTAS.
Hmm.
Have you guys ever had, and I don't know about UTAS, but have you guys ever had a pastor who was so down in the mess down in the mess, was preaching the word on Sunday? Like what I guess I'm trying to phrase this question correctly. How does the pastor be down in the mess more than the people that he's trying to preach to?
Um,
They say the
I'm
pastor needs more prayer than everybody else. But at the same time, the Bible says that you'll be by yourself on judgment day, right?
here.
I'm confused. I've always been confused about that.
Here's the thing. Um, I do know a pastor that who
If you don't feel comfortable saying, don't say.
I'm trying to say whew, there was a pastor that was shot while in the pulpit
Ooh.
by the husband of a woman he was allegedly having an affair with. There are a lot of pastors because a position of power is a position of power is a position of power. There are
Hmm.
people who are truly called to preach and teach and to be a shepherd for a flock. There are other people who look at it like any other position. Like, oh, that's the top that I can have here. I got to have the top. I'm ambitious. I got to be the top. I got to be the most successful here. And there are people that are driven by that. And just like with any position, it can go to your head.
Hmm.
And because, let's be real, in the religious communities and sectors, you are conditioned to basically worship and give passes to those that are your clergy members, especially the head of your clergy. So you can see a million and one red flags. Heck, your pastor could come down and flirt with you. You give it a pass and you make excuses. And that's why they teach little girls, don't be a stumbling block for the deacon board. Don't be coming to church dressed like that. How about since I'm 12, you go talk to Deacon Jeffrey and tell him to keep it in his pants?
That part. That part. Because here's the deal. Why are, I know this is jumping subjects, but at the same time, it's a subject that needs to be discussed. Why are little girls and young women in general, always to blame for some man's inep- inability to keep his member to himself?
Yep. Everybody is quick to teach little girls how to dress, how to act, how to protect herself, instead of teaching little boys to have control over their bodies. Because what good is it to teach me from the time I can walk and talk to be in control of my body as much as I can as a woman, but you don't teach any of my counterparts that happen to not be female to be in control of their bodies and their emotions.
I would say you need to learn how to teach your boys that no matter their sexuality, the opposite sex is not a vision of their conquest.
I would say no one is a vision of their conquest because let's face it, everybody is so concerned
I
and has all these
I
lies.
agree. I
Hold on a
agree,
second, but
but
they have all of these lies and they're flat out lies regarding the LGBTQIA plus community, especially gay men and trans women. But the biggest danger to anybody walking this planet is a cisgendered heterosexual man. That's who's committing the vast majority of these attacks and rapes. When you look at the incel community who gets off on publicly stating that they intentionally put women in uncomfortable and frightening positions, thinking that they can wear them down or show that at any time they can come and assault us, they identify as cisgendered heterosexual men.
and I'm going to be real. Sometimes that conversation has been led to prison, and no, it's not about survival. It's about usually cisgendered heterosexual men that can't obtain the object of their affection, but will sustain for a lesser until they get out.
Well, let's not forget, Christopher Columbus was not in prison and he was raping animals, most notably a manatee. Cisgendered heterosexual men have been trying to get their rocks off with whoever and whatever, and it's about control. It's not even about sexual conquest or a climax. It is about control. And
Right.
cisgendered heterosexual men are who invented and introduced bestiality, necrophilia, sexual assault, rape, molestation, and pedophilia.
I think a lot of sometimes men need to understand they say that women are to blame for the world being in a situation, but they don't want to. We going back to the Bible. They want to
Oh, hold
look
on
at
real quick. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about the llama and Christopher Columbus. Thank you for that. Good catch.
they want to look at Adam. They want to look at Eve, but they don't want to turn around and look at Adam.
First of all, they want to ignore Lilith, but that's a conversation for another day.
That's true. That's true. That's true. And
But but here's the thing, and I'm glad you brought that up because first of all, can y'all stop blaming us women for everything and blaming Eve? Because look at the Bible. Adam had the conversation with God, not Eve. Adam was to inform Eve. Adam did not. Adam knew that Eve inadvertently broke the rule that she was not made aware of. So technically, she didn't do anything wrong, and then he partook in it and then hid. Name a cisgendered straight man now that doesn't still do that. Yep. Name one.
well, let's see. Doesn't still do that?
Yeah, that does not still do that. That doesn't still withhold information, wait for a woman to accidentally break a rule that she was never told about, and then he sit back and hide when it's time for consequences, and he generally hides behind the woman.
Well, no offense. I mean, like, you said a cisgendered straight man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I can't name one.
Mm-hmm.
I can't name one. Cause shit, I know a lot of gay men who will admit that do that, but a straight man, no, I can't name one. Not two or three, no, not one. Well, shit. I just really sat here and thought about it. I can't name one. Not a one.
And if let's leave religion alone for a minute, but let's go to the heroes of the straight men. the good old patriot. I got my guns. I eat steak 5 times a day. I'm a manly man. Straight men that want to talk about another man painting his nails or doing something different or creative with his hair or deciding to be gender fluid with his attire. Have you ever noticed that they're heroes? Because they love to go, we are Sparta. And I'm like, they didn't wear pants. Or
No,
they
they
bring
did
up
not.
somebody else and I'm like, he wore a wig. Or they bring up somebody else, or like, well, no, I loved our founding fathers. The men who wore high heels and
Were
wigs and
I,
makeup.
and they would share the makeup with their wives. Let's be honest with it.
Because
Let's be
high
honest
heels
with
were never made for
it.
women. Wigs were never made for women. There was a shift. And can y'all stop assigning colors to genders? Because the whole pink and blue thing came about in the 80s. I was already born. And they started this pink is for girls, blue is for boys. A color is a color is a color. If you like the color, if it looks good on you, wear it. If you want to paint your nails, paint your nails. If you don't, you don't. Because I know some straight women who don't like to get their nails done, don't want to paint them, don't want to do anything. And guess what? They're still chef's kiss beautiful. I know some very gorgeous men, okay, to
I
get their
do want.
nails done. Who
I
cares?
well, no offense. I like to get my nails done because for one thing, I'll be honest with it. Um, we're going back to the bath thing, but what woman wants to get with a man? And it's no secret I'm not into women, but what woman wants to get with a man and then they see all kinds of dirt underneath your fingernails?
That part. Oh, and one other thing. Let me say this because, and don't get me wrong, I love Native men. Some of the most beautiful men I've ever seen in my life happen to be Native men. But can you all stop saying that Native men are progressive? No, Native men are right on track. Native men decided they were not going to be colonized. So when you see them wearing earrings, when you see them having long flowing hair, that's just them being human beings.
Oh my
Like,
god.
it's not
Okay.
progressive to be a human. If you decide, I want to grow my hair down like Crystal Gale, do it. It is your life, it is your comfortability. If you want to, do it.
I'm just
It
gonna
was
be honest with you.
colonizers that
Ooh.
decided, I need to look more manly than you. And they decided what the manly standard was.
Man, have you seen? Ooh, I know this is like, I know this is pertaining to the subject, but you said that, and I'm gonna be honest with you. The finest Native American, indigenous man that I didn't seen lately, Modern Warrior.
Oh, yes.
Ooh, that long flowing hair, and I keep thinking like TikTok gonna get me in trouble in my relationship.
Well, not only that, the beauty of it, here's the beauty of Modern Warrior and a lot of Native men that I've seen. It's the being comfortable in their skin
And sticking to their truths. I love that.
and the beauty, the grace, and the strength that is used in protecting their heritage and their culture and the women within their culture. It's like, yes, I looked at you when you were like here, like, whoa, you got my attention. Then I listened to you and it's like, woo!
I'm just me personally, and I don't want to just stick this with
Oh, yeah,
any
Lance,
with
Lance,
any.
that's right. Modern Warrior, Lance.
Well, I was using screen name, not his actual name. um, um, I personally believe that any man who sticks true to their ancestry, sticks true to their heritage, sticks true to their sense of being, and stays true to themselves without falter is fucking gorgeous.
Yes, yes, yes,
Because
yes.
that is a level of integrity that some men, I don't care if you're black, white, it don't matter. Some people do not have. And I can only speak from the man side because as I am a cisgendered man, I only have the right to speak on men. That's how I feel. So like I believe that any man who does that, it's just so beautiful, and it's a level of integrity that I believe is missing from men.
Mm-hmm.
It's missing from a lot of these, and I use the word men. It's used missing from these little boys and men's bodies.
Ooh.
That's what I should have said.
Well, like I say, there's levels to everything.
Hmm.
You have girls, you have girls that are legal, and you have women, and you have ladies. Just like you have
Hmm.
boys, boys that are legal, you have men, and
Hmm.
then you have gentlemen. Everybody isn't the same
Right.
because a boy that's legal and a girl that's legal, that's where you get all the drama and the issue and the troubles from. These are the people you cannot be rational with. These are the people that never want a resolution or a conclusion to anything.
That part.
These are the people who take the antics of reality shows that are edited a certain way and make it their whole, the embodiment of their entire life and their singular personality trait because they think that it's cute to really truly be petty 24 hours a day.
You. I'm gonna be honest with you. I never get tired of being petty, but at the same time, there is a line where you have to know that you need to stop. Look at what you're doing. Is this helping you or hurting you?
And you also have to look at how can one be comfortable with perpetual chaos? Why would you want to live a life of perpetual chaos?
Perpetual chaos. People who are comfortable with perpetual chaos, all they want to do is. I don't think they're comfortable with perpetual chaos, and the reason why I say that is they want to cause chaos for others, but they won't be able to handle the chaos when it's thrown on their plate.
Hmm. But that's got to be exhausting because
At the
these
end
are the
of the
people
day,
that are always in everybody else's business, know
hmm
everything that's going on with celebrities, pseudo celebrities, real celebrities, influencers, everything. Like, mm, it's just a
I
lot.
don't. What I feel personally is that people need to look. When I define, I've used to be a very, very petty person. I can still be petty, but at the same time, I've learned out of certain ways, and I'll put it out there. My fiance has taught me so much about reeling it back in, reeling back in the violence, and reeling back in like all the makeups that made me a negative person, and looking at them from a neutral stance. And I mean, some people may not know this about me. I used to be a very, very petty, violent person, and I still go to degrees where I can get that way, but I've learned through my fiance, take a step back and look at yourself. Are you going to feel good about this tomorrow? Are you going to feel good about this 3 days down the line? Do you honestly not care? Because if these things were being done to you, how would you feel? How does this make you feel? Like now in the moment, maybe you can't hear it because you're angry, you're upset, you're mad. But down the line, what if it's you? Do you want somebody being petty, violent, vicious to you? No.
And see,
You would
that's
want them to
growth.
stop the drama.
And see,
So
that's
like,
growth and evolution. A lot of these people don't, they're anti growth. Just like we have anti maskers, they're anti growth, they're anti evolution. They get stuck. And their favorite line is, if you want to know about me, ask about me. Why? You telling about everybody else, so I'm waiting for somebody to come tell about you.
well, here's the deal. The line, if you want to know about me, and I'm going to stay true to what you were saying too. The line that if you want to know about me, come ask me. Okay, that's fine. But if you got three different actions of you telling people about themselves, we don't know which one is the real you because you like to tell people what's what for you, what's what for them. So we waiting on you to see if you have a nucleus. We waiting to see if you have something that somebody can come share with the rest of the rest of the team. Because you exposing every which one person for being messy. And I'm gonna say this: if you are always in the mess, you got to be a little bit messy your damn self. That's just common sense.
Yep.
But just a subject that I want to bring up. We were talking about this a little bit earlier offline. Um, activism and activism and and
Performative activism.
performative activism and being a militant. I am a person who I have once fucked up and described myself as an activist until I really sat down and did the work to learn what that really meant. And I can say truly that at the end of the day, am I learning to be an activist? Yes. But am I an activist? No. Because there are certain things that I have failed to do and failed to accomplish yet. Like these activists out here have accomplished things. They've accomplished things for their community. They've accomplished things for the well being of other people than just themselves. And, you know, like maybe I will. I've once joked with a friend, maybe I'll say training militant because my heart is militant because that's what I grew up around. I mean, my family, I come from activists in my family, militants in my family. My heart is militant. But am I a militant? No, because I'm not ready because I have not done the work to be that militant yet. And I came back to TikTok a long time ago to talk about hypocrisy. But then I took a look back and then I was like, I can't talk about these things when I haven't done the reading. I haven't done the research that I need to. I still need to ask. I have so many unanswered questions because you need. So what I've been doing, me personally, if you are a person that is not truly an activist, don't describe yourself as that. Because an activist knows that anything that they do can come back with backlash, whether it's positive for their community or it's positive against people who are harming their community. And me personally, while I've been doing my research, I've been noticing that as I learn, I take the people that maybe haven't learned this with me. That's how
Mm.
I feel I'm doing better. But at the same time, I still wouldn't describe myself as an activist or a militant yet. Because there's certain things that I have yet to do, like get myself on the ground. And like I said this in one of my TikTok videos, TikTok is a social justice avenue.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a social justice opportunity. And avenue does not mean that it's an outlet. It does not mean that it's the whole motivation for social justice. An avenue means awareness.
True.
And if you are spreading awareness and that's your portion, that's fine. That doesn't mean that you're, a bad person or that you can't be an activist. But at the same time, I still know and I feel in my heart that a true activist and a true militant is there on the ground. And that's what we need here in this fight nowadays. Because look at the things that they're throwing at us. Look at the things that the world itself, and I don't mean people in the world, I mean the world, like coronavirus and everything. Those are all things that we have to overcome. And like, just like we're in, like, I feel like the performative activists, yes, point them out, but then we have these people who will do 1927 videos on that person. At that point, it turns into clout. And then other things don't go don't get corrected. Nobody's learning anything. Nobody's taking in anything that's productive. So then there's no unity for the situation. And Taz, you brought up something with um, the thing that the Asian community was going on.
Yes,
Yeah.
because we know that there was a period of time where, unfortunately, the Asian community was they were under attack. They were being hate crimed left and right. They came together. They were able to accomplish legislation in record time because it does take a
Hmm.
while to get legislation passed with all of the levels that you have to go through. Trust me, I am learning more and more about that every day. But when you take the performative aspect out of it, you're like a freight train. You can go straight through and get the job done. When you have to keep stopping and going, hey, this person is performative, come back over here. Because performative activists have to me, they're influencers in disguise. And they have a way of weaning people over away from the fight where we need all of the soldiers. We need all of our battalions in order to move forward.
And I do want to say this, like, um, there was a wonderful analogy that we discussed, and maybe some people can understand this. A performative activist versus an activist and a militant are like the way that, and yes, this might be a little bit of a stretch for some people to understand, but the way that old supermodels used to be. You remember how they had to work, how we discussed they had to work for what they got through. They had to strive, they had to go through it, especially if they were people of color.
Yeah, you had to hit the gym. You had to have a certain diet. You had to know how to do your hair and makeup. You had to be ready for 3 a.m. calls. And now somebody can consider themselves a model, an IG model at that, because they learned how to work some filters.
And
Save no
that's the
shade.
portion that's a performative activist. Like that, those are what those similarities are like to me.
Mhm.
Because like I personally think if you're actively trying to change yourself, then you are becoming either a militant of militant behavior. But when you have already changed yourself and you're not doing anything but performances, did you really change yourself for the good of the community and people, or did you change yourself for the good of yourself?
That part.
Did you change it for likes and views or to help?
Because we see that a lot. And once again, I want to thank my guests for tonight. Before we get to final
Hmm.
thoughts, just a few things that I want to touch on. Just so you all know, we have extended the voting for the villain hero fighting duo competition. Your villain and hero can come from, it can be Marvel, it can be DC, it can be Black Sands, it can be Star Wars, whatever. Just one has to be a villain, one has to be a hero, and they they will be fighting side by side. You can comment here or on any of my profiles. I'll put out new videos tomorrow for that. Also, for next week's topics, we have on Tuesday, relationships was healthy for you. Wednesday, conflict or companion, religion and sexuality. Thursday, toxic BIPOC parenting. And then, of course, Friday, we'll be back for Freeform Friday. So if you want to be a part of any of these discussions or you know anyone that you believe would be amazing in these discussions, please contact me at asktaz77 at gmail.com, or you can DM me on Instagram because my TikTok DMs I'm still trying to get caught up on. I'm getting there. Just be patient with me. And also, if you have any topic suggestions, there's a discussion board here on my YouTube channel where you can put up any topics that you would like to be discussed and we can get it into the schedule. And before we close, your final thoughts on the night.
Um, for those of you who don't understand the pipeline situation, um, It's not just a situation, it is a call to action. We need to be there. I personally cannot be there, but if you can be there through donation or spreading awareness, that is something that is needed. I didn't understand the situation, but as you can find in Taz's bio in her link tree, there is information that you can get to, and you can also look it up. Um, Please pay attention to this, because at the end of the day, it is so much more than just one one people who need help.
Hmm.
It is all of us,
Exactly.
and we need to shed attention to this. So that's one of my final thoughts. Another final thought of mine is, um, sometimes in life you're going to be presented with a situation, and sometimes because your friend says one thing is one person is doing something, sometimes you need to take the initiative step forward to ask the person that they're accusing of what's going on. You may find out that you shouldn't even be there. You can still support your friend, but you don't got to speak on it.
That's an amazing point. Thank you. Also, just to piggyback off of what Dion said regarding Stop Line 3, uh, last night I just did a 30-minute short informational on a variety of causes, but I did start off regarding Stop Line 3, and he is correct. In my link tree, there are multiple resources, whether you want to venture and be on the front line to show physical support, or if you want to donate, or if you want to know how to help additional causes, please feel free. Also on TikTok, Modern Warrior is a wonderful um, resource. Diamond Dog, Victoria C 859, uh, Mia Stay Gold, and Aunt Callie. There are so many more. I'm sorry, I'm pulling a blank as to everybody's user tags right now. But my apologies. So please. Also, in the link tree in my bio here on TikTok, on everywhere, there is my weekly blog. It debuts every Saturday. It's called Camp Taz, and this week's submission is already in, and it also talks about the link between the Line 3 pipeline and MMIW. And if you're not familiar with MMIW, it's Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women. Um, and if you go to anything that's marked on this page, in Unity We Soar, you'll see the monthly roundtable with the Native community. And those creators do an incredible job of breaking down why the MMIW movement is so important and imperative. So while also trying to stop the pipeline, let's also make sure that there are no more missing or murdered Indigenous women. And as always, each one teach one, each one reach one. Thank you for joining us this evening. And until next week, good night.
All right. Good night.